Okay, so today we're going to look at fractions, percentage, and decimals and the relationship between the three of them. I know this came up for a lot of boys and girls as something that they wanted to just sort of review and have a look at. So we're going to look at the different sort of methods and talk about possibly some misconceptions that may have arisen over the years. So we've got here our little sort of known thing, our known fact. So to convert a percentage into a decimal, I've got to divide by 100. So to convert a percentage into a decimal, I divide by 100. I know some children, when they look at, then they think about this question, they look at the percentage sign and it kind of looks like a wonky division sign. So we can try and remember to, when we got 55%, if I divide that by 100, it creates 0.55. A misconception can sometimes arise when people think I just need to stick a decimal point in front of it. If you look at the next one, if I've got 125% and I was to stick a decimal point in front of it, I would then have 0.125, which isn't the case. So I've got to be careful and I've got to remember that I'm dividing by 100, not trying to find a shortcut by sticking the decimal point in front of it. I need to actually go and divide it and use my place value facts to do it. Again, the same with if it was 7%, lots of children might just pop the decimal point in front of it and they would get 0.7, which isn't the case. It needs to be divided by 100 and we can see that it actually creates or answers as 0.07. So be careful. Don't cut corners because that is when mistakes and confusion can arise. Okay, let's have a look at the next bit. I'm just trying to shift this down because I've got loads of information. I don't want you getting confused by all the words and numbers on the line. Right, so we've got to convert a fraction into a decimal, I divide the numerator by the denominator and then round it to 2 decimal places. The reason I round it to 2 decimal places is that then I can convert it into a percentage if I need to. If it's more than 2 decimal places, then I can't create a percentage because percent means out of 100. So I need to have my to round it to 2 decimal places. As we remember from the previous little section, 1.25 is equivalent to 125%. So I've got my fraction here and it's 3/5. And I'm just going to show you how this would work. So I'm going to put my numerator in the bus stop and I put my denominator on the outside. So I can't fit 5 into 3, so I can put a 0 there. And this is just short division. So how many times then that does 5 go into 30? Well, it is 6. I don't need to use any more. So it's 0.6 is the decimal that is equivalent to 3/5. I just wanted to show you with half as well, because lots of people already know it's 0.5, but I'm just showing you within the sum. So obviously 2 can't go into 1, so I would cross out that. I didn't cross that one. And then how many times does 2 go into 10? And it is 5 times, which is why we know it as 0.5. Here we've got something slightly different. We've got an improper fraction, but still I've put my numerator in there. The misconception can be the biggest number goes on the outside and the smallest number goes on the inside, which isn't the case. So you've always got to remember it's the numerator that goes on the inside and that denominator goes on the outside. So 3 can go into 4 once, and that leaves me with 1 left over. Now 3 can go in to 10, it can go in 3 times. And then I can create, so that gets crossed out and 1 is left over. And this would continue. And lots of us would know it as 0.33 recurring. So I'm going to leave it as 1.33. You can see how if I then change this into a percentage, it would become 133%, because that is more than 1. An improper fraction is more than 1. Let me just show you. It would create 1 and 1/3, and lots of you know that 1/3 is equivalent to 0.33. Okay, and finally at the bottom here, let me just shift my page up. We've got converting decimals into fractions. So here's my knowledge to convert a decimal into a fraction, make it a percentage first, and then simplify it. So, like I mentioned before, nice and simple. We can change this into our percentage. So it's 55%. And then we can change that into a fraction by putting it over 100 because percent means out of 100. So that would create 55 hundredths, and that can then be simplified. The same here if I've got 60%, and that is 60 over 100, and that can be simplified. And then we've got 0.7, so 75%, and that is 75 over 100. And we obviously know that this one can simplify into 3/4. Okay, I hope that is helpful. Don't cut corners. Remember those little I know facts, and hopefully those misconceptions will reduce in number. All right, bye-bye.